Most people think pest control is a normal part of gardening. It's almost unavoidable. You plant something, pests appear, and then the battle begins. Sprays, treatments, checking leaves every morning, trying to stop damage before it spreads. And because this happens so often, people assume it's just how gardening works. But here's something interesting. The healthiest gardens usually experience the fewest serious pest problems, not because pests never appear, but because healthy systems prevent small problems from becoming disasters. That's the difference most people never see. Because pests are not always the root problem. Very often, they're a symptom, a sign that something underneath the garden is out of balance. And once you understand that, pest control starts looking completely different. The first thing healthy gardens do well is support strong plants. This matters more than most people realize, because pests target weakness constantly. Weak roots, stressed leaves, poor growth, unstable moisture. These conditions attract pressure. Strong, healthy plants are naturally harder to attack. Not impossible, but harder, because healthy plants defend themselves better. Their structure is stronger, recovery is faster, and stress signals are lower. Now here's what surprises most people. Healthy gardens usually have insects everywhere, just not uncontrolled populations, because balance matters more than elimination. This is where most gardens accidentally create problems. People see a few pests and immediately react aggressively. Spraying, removing insects, trying to eliminate everything. But pests are only one part of the system. Predators matter too. Ladybugs, hoverflies, parasitic wasps, ground beetles, spiders. All of these naturally reduce pest pressure, and healthy gardens support them constantly. This is why balanced gardens rarely experience explosive infestations. The predators respond before populations spiral out of control. Another reason healthy gardens need less pest control is diversity. Monoculture systems are, well, vulnerable. Large areas filled with just one crop create perfect conditions for pests, because once insects find a food source, it exists everywhere around them, and that lets populations explode really quickly. Healthy gardens interrupt this pattern. Different plants, different scents, different structures, different flowering times. All of this creates confusion for pests and stability for the ecosystem. Companion planting plays a huge role here. Strong-smelling herbs, trap crops, pollinator flowers, all working together, not randomly, but as a system. This is why some gardens seem naturally protected, even without constant treatment. Another major factor is soil health. This one affects everything. Healthy soil supports stronger roots, better nutrient absorption, improved water regulation, and stronger plants resist stress more effectively. Weak soil creates weak gardens, and weak gardens experience more pest pressure. This is why spraying alone rarely solves long-term problems, because the issue underneath still exists. Now let's talk about airflow, because healthy gardens are usually designed differently. Plants are spaced properly, air moves freely, and moisture dries consistently, and these conditions really reduce fungal pressure dramatically. Many pests and diseases thrive in damp, stagnant environments, especially when leaves stay wet for long periods. This is why overcrowded gardens struggle so often. The environment itself just supports the problem. Healthy gardens, well, they avoid creating those conditions in the first place. Another thing healthy gardens do differently is avoid constant disruption. This surprises people, because honestly, many struggling gardens experience non-stop interference, constant digging, constant spraying, constant product changes, constant adjustments. But you see, ecosystems stabilize through consistency, not chaos. Healthy gardens tend to feel calmer, less reactive, because the focus shifts from controlling every issue to strengthening the environment overall. Now here's something most people overlook completely. Healthy gardens usually contain more wildness than people expect. Small flowering plants, ground cover, insect activity, natural diversity. These spaces provide habitat for beneficial insects, and beneficial insects are, honestly, one of the strongest forms of pest control available. But many people accidentally remove that support system. Everything gets cleaned up, every insect becomes a threat, every natural patch gets removed, and over time, the ecosystem weakens. Another major reason healthy gardens need fewer treatments is resilience. Healthy systems recover faster, even after stress, even after weather changes, even after some pest activity, because, stable systems bounce back, weak systems collapse. This is why two gardens exposed to the exact same conditions can respond completely differently. One stabilizes quickly, the other spirals into constant problems. The difference is rarely luck, it's usually system strength. Another hidden factor is moisture consistency. Healthy gardens regulate water better, mulching helps, healthy soil structure helps, root systems help, and stable moisture reduces plant stress dramatically, because honestly, stressed plants attract more problems. Again, pests often target instability, not just plants themselves. Now here's where most people misunderstand natural gardening. They think healthy gardens are pest-free. They're not. That's unrealistic. Nature doesn't work like that. Healthy gardens still contain pests, but the system prevents imbalance. That's the real goal. Not elimination. Balance. Because, elimination usually creates new problems, especially when beneficial insects disappear too. This is why aggressive spraying often backfires long-term. It creates temporary control, but weaker ecosystems. And weaker ecosystems need more intervention later. Healthy gardens reduce dependence. That's the real difference. Now let's talk about observation, because healthy gardeners usually notice patterns early. Not through panic, through awareness. They notice changes in leaf color, moisture shifts, predator activity, seasonal timing, because healthy gardening is not passive, it's observant. Small adjustments happen early, before problems escalate, and this prevents minor issues from becoming major outbreaks. Another important factor is patience. Healthy gardens are not built instantly. The strongest systems usually take time. Soil improves gradually. Predator populations build gradually. Plant relationships strengthen gradually. And once those systems mature, the entire garden behaves differently. This is why older established gardens often feel easier to manage. The ecosystem has stabilized over time. Now here's something powerful. Healthy gardens often require fewer products overall, not because gardeners stop caring, but because the system itself starts handling more pressure naturally. And once that happens, gardening feels less exhausting, less reactive, less stressful. Instead of constantly fighting problems, you support conditions that prevent them from escalating. That's a completely different mindset, and it changes everything. Most people think pest control means attacking pests, but healthy gardens approach the problem differently. They strengthen the environment first, because healthy systems naturally resist instability better. And once you understand that, you stop focusing only on visible problems, and start strengthening the invisible systems underneath. That's why healthy gardens rarely need heavy pest control, not because they're perfect, but because they're balanced, and balanced systems protect themselves far better than stressed ones ever can.